times? Not so much in the eyes of us as the beholder, looking in the moment instead of the long term of what it means. And then after you go through that, there's usually a period of deep sadness that comes from loss. Some people get depressed. Some people, by the way, get stuck in these stages for a long time. But if you can get over the shock, and if you can get over the anger, and you can experience some of the loss and feel it, then eventually you'll get to a point where you start to bargain. Like, okay, what if I do this, God? Will you do that? Or, you think of that in your life or your business. It's just like, it's still trying to make the old come back. But the old really doesn't. And so what we eventually have to do is get to acceptance. Now, I'm an achiever like you. My guess is acceptance? It's not right. I'm not going to accept it. Well, I don't accept whether it's right, but I accept that it is, and therefore we have to deal with it. And when you get to acceptance, there is a release of pain. And most people don't even make it there. They stay in pain so long. But if you make it there, I think there's a sixth step that no one talks about, and that's the step of creation, which is why we're here today. It's like, if you can let go of the past and not try to reignite and create the same thing, we can have it be better than it was. But in order to make it better, we got to let go of what was so we can brand new create what is. And so for us, instead of sitting there and saying, oh my God, we can't help anybody, and we kept trying different things. We got moving dates. We'd call governors and say, when's the date we could really count on? And they'd tell us, and of course, things changed and the dates didn't work and kept changing and changing. And then it was like, okay, we're gonna do this in movie theaters. We'll do 1,000 movie theaters. You remember, I was excited. Big screens, and we won't be in person, but it'll be smaller groups. We'll reach everybody, we'll help them. And then they shut down movie theaters. Then we'll go to churches, and they shut down churches. Then, we couldn't go anywhere. It could only be 10 people with masks. And so I finally said the thing I said I'd never do is do this in people's homes, because, you go to an event, if you've ever been to an event, it's like a rock and roll concert for 12, 14 hours a day for 3 or 4 days in a row. I mean, it's incredible. How are you gonna do that in somebody's home with some, little computer? I don't wanna do some, old man's, kind of webinar or something. And so we went to the creation stage. We said, okay, we have to help people. This is our mission. And so we started to create, and that's what I'm hoping you're about to do. And if you're not, if you can see what stage you're in, are you in the stage of acceptance yet? Have you gone through the shock, and have you gone through the anger and the sadness, and have you stopped bargaining? Have you accepted, I may not appreciate it, I might even agree with what people have done, but it is what it is, so here's what I'm gonna do now with it.
Yes.
That's the moment when life can change. And that's the moment when you have to pivot or find a new way or explore new options or move on to something new. So I started looking around. Go ahead.
Yes, just because a lot of times at that time it's, the grief comes from the loss of what was, and the acceptance comes from the recognition of what is, and creation comes from the place of recognizing what we actually can do, how we can touch life deeper. And a lot of times, I was thinking of our own inner dialogue, or my own inner dialogue, like Tony had mentioned, will we ever be able to, serve again? Will we ever be able to do a live event again? And, you have these internal narratives, but it's through that place of acceptance of what is, there sparks the, when something dies, there's also the birth of the new. And a lot of times when we're only focused here, this way, that direction on what was and what can never be again, it doesn't.
What was missing versus what you have.
And then the fear of the future of, oh my gosh, what if this, what if that? Rather than just like this moment of recognizing what is and seeing how we can connect to life. And in that place of creation, there's conviction. In that place of conviction, there's determination. There's unity of a team coming together. Like, I think of this time, as much as it was painful and uncomfortable and uncertain, there was beauty in it. There was beauty in it because of, the willing hearts to not give up.
That's right.
And to see it through and to see the birth of something new, rather than just keeping the focus on the death of what was. And trust me, we were there, and in all the uncertainties of what does this mean. But there's also, what does this mean? There's a higher meaning, and finding the gift in it, finding the blessing in it. And that's part of why we're here today, to just share some of our own just gifts and blessings from this whole process.
And I think that if you think about it as, so many people have gotten caught up in making a living that they don't design their life, and now the life they had's not there. They didn't really design it anyway, but there's this sense of what I'm missing, instead of this is the moment to recreate. It's like, I always tell people, we're not managers of our circumstances, we're the creator of our lives. We've been given that gift by our creator, by the universe. So here's what we did. We said, okay, what I say I would never do, and that's one of the things I teach people. It's like, if you really want to achieve what you really want, you got to write down everything you wouldn't be willing to do to achieve it, and then look at each one and go, I'm willing to do that. And then you probably won't have to do them all. But that willingness to do whatever it takes will free you. It'll get you out of the box. It'll allow you to become the creator instead of the manager of the circumstances. And so, long story short, I won't tell you the whole story, but I said, okay, we're gonna do these in homes. I'm not gonna do it this way. So I'm looking for any avenue. And I went to this one organization and they said, well, we'll show you how you can do this. And they had like 6 52-inch little screens on this little square. And I'm like, this is not a stadium. This is not gonna, people aren't gonna feel this. And so I took out a tape recorder with my team and I said, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna find a building with like 40-foot high ceilings and I'll build a 16-foot high, 50-foot wide curved LED walls that have like, I want to make it so that it's the same quality as looking at your phone so we can really see and feel each other. I want to see 180 degrees in front of me and behind me so I can see at least 3,000 people at a time and swipe in the next 3,000. I want to be able to call them in and look and have a conversation and where are they on the world? And I want to have these devices. So by the time I was done in the creating mode, it was like there was no more pain. Now it's how do you do it? Everyone said it couldn't be done. And I was like, I put 6 organizations together and I said, we're gonna do this. And they said, well, this will take 6 months. I said, we got 9 weeks. and then we decided we'd do an event for people. So we did a free event for 400,000 people for a week. And then we started figuring out how we're gonna use this technology even more effectively. And then we did our first Unleash the Power Within virtual one. And it was unbelievable. In some ways, I mean, if you read the social media, some people like it better than the live one because we were right there with you in your living room, with your family, with your kids. And I can't even describe what it's like to see people from 139 countries playing full out, and we're all in different time zones, and just all of us coming together as family and support and kindness and watching kids getting involved and watching, I watched this one man, I'll never forget, this Indian man, we were in India obviously, and turban and everything else, and he was clearly upset with his wife, had commandeered the big screen, and within a few hours he's dancing with her, and then we did wood breaking, he ended up doing the wood breaking and participating. So it's actually become a new way, and we're actually reaching more people now than ever before. We've done 5 events, and the average event we've had as high as 30,000, the small event's been 12,500 people all over the world. So what I love about the experience now is there's no limit to helping people when they need it. And we translated 8 languages simultaneously. So COVID has opportunities. I know we don't want to think about it that way, but we have to. Otherwise, you just got to live in pain, right? And to be able to extend whatever you're doing and deliver to whole new levels that. So here's what we really want to say to you. The quality of your life is where you live emotionally. And that's the one thing you have total control over. Now, you say, how do I control how I feel? I feel like hell, I feel sad, I feel overwhelmed, I feel stressed. I understand, but all those feelings come from meanings. In other words, is this the end or the beginning? If you think it's the end of a relationship, you're gonna behave very differently. You think it's the beginning of a relationship, right? Is this the end? Are you being punished by God? Is this a challenge from God? Or is this whole situation a gift from God? Or is it not God at all? It's our job to figure it out. It's like the meanings determine how we feel. If you think someone's disrespecting